Hey everybody, my name is Colin and you are watching Weave Your Destiny. Today we're going to be talking about how your career life is going to be for this month of August. I have gone ahead and laid out the cards because I've already was feeling the energy and something in me was telling me like, just go ahead and spread them out, get them started. And I do want to go ahead and just show you the cards real quick. First we have the Sovereign of Coins. Ooh, that's a really good card. So we're starting off the week really good. We have the Seven of Swords. You know, this is a decent card. Very truthful card. I would say that. I'll say as we get into it. We have the Magi reversed, which doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You know, reverse doesn't mean bad. It just means that maybe you have to step back a little bit on certain things. And then we have the World, once again reversed, which again, like I said, isn't such a bad thing. You know, and you can see those really beautiful colors. I love these cards so much, and they make me feel really good and really comfortable. So we're going to get into this right now. So the Sovereign Coin is all about financial security. It's about nurturing that sense of self that wants more, or is at the moment where they're not getting as much as they could be as far as money goes. And so what this card is saying is that your career life, the first week of your career life, should be looking to where you're going to start having money. You're going to have money coming in. You're going to start feeling financially secure with yourself, which is going to boost your confidence, which is going to boost your drive, your ambitions. You know, if there's anything that you've been putting on hold, now is the time to do it because you're going to have the money to do so. So you watching this video right now, I believe in synchronicities. I believe this video is for you because we're already starting off really good. You know, financial security. Isn't that what everybody wants? I want it 100%. I actually, what's funny is, I actually found out that I'm going to be working soon, very soon, actually next week. So it's actually pretty interesting that I also end up pulling this card because I feel like it resonates with me, to the fact of I'm going to be financially secure now because of my job. So, you know, we're both in this together, right? But now we have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords. All right, the Seven of Swords. I feel like the second week going in, you know, with the Seven of Swords, what it's saying is that, you know, now that you've kind of like got into the groove of things, you know, you had your first week, you're getting, you know, paid the money, you're starting to feel financially secure, you might want to treat yourself, you know, and treating yourself isn't bad. You know, as I always say, just take a little bit of your paycheck. It could be a pack of gum. It could be buying yourself a notebook. It could be like, you know, something small or something, you know, just generous. It could be going out to dinner for yourself or paying for dinner for you and your friend. You know, it's good to treat yourself, but you don't want to be too impulsive with your money. And I feel like that's what the second week is going to be bringing you. It's gonna start to test you. It's gonna be like, well, I'm making all this money so I can afford all these things. You know what I mean? And you just want to be careful, you know, as far as that goes. You don't want to be too impulsive with your money. You don't want to just spend it on anything, right? You want to spend it on things that add value to your life, that are going to provide you with more financial security. You know, I think a lot of times, you know, we don't talk about self-deception, where we sort of talk ourselves into doing something that we know isn't right. I've been there before where, you know, I really wanted something and I was like, oh, I can afford this. And the next thing I know, like something happens, like a bill or whatever. And I'm like, oh crap, like I shouldn't have spent money, you know, and the next thing I know, I'm having to take the thing that I did spend money on back. And, you know, it just sucked, you know? So as far as I'm concerned, as far as you should be concerned, be careful with your impulsiveness. Try to spend your money again on things that matter, not things that like aren't going to be around within the next couple of weeks, you know. So now we have the Magi reversed. I'm sort of excited for this card. I normally don't pull reverse cards, but when I do, it means something. Okay, so, alrighty. I can just find it. I have my little guide here, actually. The Magi is page 11. You know, I've had this book for years and I still sometimes forget where things are, and that's okay. We can always find our way back. Always find our way back. Okay. All right, hold on. Okay. So again, you know, it's funny because I pulled the Seven of Swords and it was talking about the whole deception, like the self-deception that, oh, I can buy this and I can buy that. And it's like, and it ties very heavily into the Sovereign of Coins because again, you're going to have that financial security where you're going to have a little bit of extra money, a little extra cushion, you know, so to speak. But like there is such a thing as greed. You get what I'm saying? Like there is such a thing as deception, self-deception. And that's what the Magi reverse is warning you about just as much as the Seven of Swords is warning you about. Like that third week, you're still going to be having this feeling of, I can get these things. I can buy that new clothes. I can buy that new purse. I can buy those new pants. I can buy those new jeans, shoes, jewelry, whatever it is, you know. You have to be careful because that third week, you're definitely gonna, you know, especially when you get that, you know, you get that paycheck that third week, right? You're gonna want to spend money. Sometimes we spend money before we even get our paycheck, you know? Don't do it. Wait for your paycheck and then plan on what you want to get. Make sure you get your bills covered. Make sure you get everything paid. And then you can start talking about, you know, what you want as far as like materials or, necessities, you know, things of that nature. Definitely focus on those first. And then also, you know, maybe you should start saving money. You know, now that you have more money, you should start saving a little bit because, you know, the world keeps on going and it does not wait for a payment if a payment is due. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't wait for a payment if a payment is due. And that's why we're going to talk about the world, which is the next card. It's the fourth one. It's the fourth week. Okay. And here's the thing. Like I said, when you start getting this money, you start feeling like you can get as much as you want, as much as you need. And there's a sense of impatience there. But you got to understand that now that you're in a more secure job, that doesn't mean you're at the finish line. That just means you finished one goal. But there's still goals that you have to complete, right? So what this month is looking like, right, is the first week, you're going to have a new job or you're going to have a new promotion or you're going to be in a new place where you have more money coming in. And then the Seven of Swords is saying, hey, don't deceive yourself into thinking that just because you've made all this money, that means you can just go off and be impulsive and spend because that's greedy, which is what the third week is looking like. You know, you're going to have this sense of greed. You're going to have this sense of I want more because you probably talked yourself into thinking that it's okay to spend this money when maybe there's something going on in the future where you're going to need that money, right? And don't be patient on that fourth week because once you get a taste of that first paycheck, you're going to be impatient. You're going to be like, all right, you know, now I need more money. I need more money. Don't be impatient. Let things flow. Like I said, the world is going to keep going. It's not going to wait on a payment. Just let things flow. Okay. Because as long as you let things flow, once you get your next paycheck, it'll be the same thing. Cover your bills, save a little extra money, and then treat yourself. Okay. Have some discipline, especially on that second and third week. You're definitely going to have some discipline, some self-motivation to not spend that money. Even though you're going to want to, don't do it. But with that being said, I appreciate everybody watching this video. Again, if you did enjoy the video, please give a like, please give a subscribe, please share. Because again, it helps people just like me and you who are looking for spiritual guidance find these videos and get the guidance that they need. But without further ado, I hope everyone has a great day and a great night, and I'll see you later.